The god of thunder, storms, and strength. Thor is a Norse god who is popular among many forms of media, including movies, shows, and games. However, two of his most famous forms are found in Marvel and the God of War universes. Now, I have seen a few matchups that put these two versions against each other, however they normally involve the MCU's Thor, which I love Chris and all, but let's be honest, the MCU's Thor does not stand a chance. Instead, what if we put Marvel's comic counterpart against the God of Wars Thor? Who would come out on top, and who is the true God of Thunder? As always, if you enjoy these videos, make sure to like and subscribe, and comment down below what you'd like to see next. Anyways, let's get started. When we talk about powerhouses of Marvel Comics, few names echo louder than Thor Odinson, the god of thunder, the prince of Asgard, and the living embodiment of divine might. Thor isn't just a hero, he's a force of nature, a being who channels the raw essence of storms, lightning, and cosmic divinity itself. Since his debut in Journey into the Mystery in 1962, Thor has evolved from a proud Norse warrior into one of the most powerful entities of all of Marvel. Let's break down exactly why Marvel's 616 Thor stands as one of the most terrifying forces in the multiverse. Thor's strength is one of his most consistent and defining attributes. Even in his earliest appearances, he casually performs feats that place him far above most Marvel heroes. He has famously lifted the Midgard serpent, a creature that is so massive it is able to wrap around the earth multiple times. He's been able to match the Greek god of strength Hercules, with the two of them knocking out a planet from its orbit in a simple arm wrestling match. Hercules being the same character who assisted Atlas in lifting Axis Mundi, the Marvel's Greek version of Yggdrasil, which in itself is a multiversal construct that we will get into soon. He has even lifted the Odin sword, a weapon that everyone apparently says possesses infinite weight, though the closest thing I've seen to that is Odin saying it is as big as anything. Even discrediting the Odin sword, Thor has been exceptional since he was young. As a baby, his cries summoned storms that shook every realm of the world tree. When he was a child, he once opened a book containing infinite pages. These moments hint at a potential that far surpassed physical logic. But that's just the beginning. Thor has even pushed the World Engine, which was a structure directly attached to Yggdrasil, the world tree that connects all the realms. Odin himself defined the world tree as binding every star, every planet, and every form of life across the realms. However, this can reach even crazier levels, as it has been said that Yggdrasil may even contain infinite amounts of universes. This would easily make it a multiversal construct at the very least. Not only did he push the World Engine which was attached to Yggdrasil, but it has even been stated that during a rampage, the God of Thunder even managed to shatter the roots of Yggdrasil. Throughout his life, Thor has grappled with some of the strongest beings around, including the Incredible Hulk numerous times. This is not just as a sparring partner, but in all-out fights. His strikes have shattered planets, cracked the armor of Celestials, and has even gone toe-to-toe with Galactus and Thanos. Thor has even managed to damage the Chaos King with his lightning. This is so impressive, as at this point in time, the Chaos King had swiftly defeated the Skyfather Zeus, who is relative to Odin, the same Odin that has shook the multiverses during his fight, and his healed damage to Yggdrasil. The Chaos King also managed to consume over 98% of Marvel's multiverse, and despite all that, Thor managed to injure such a being. I mean, come on, he's even been stated to be a threat to both infinity and eternity. This doesn't even cover all of the things Thor has done, easily allowing for his attack potency to reach multiversal levels. In terms of durability, well, Thor's can get quite absurd. He's taken attacks that would annihilate worlds and kept fighting. He survived direct blows from the Hulk, Silver Surfer, and Thanos. Bear in mind, the Hulk alone has shaken an infinite amount of dimensions, punched through time, and thunderclapped a universe. Even though Thor does not win every encounter with the Hulk, they're extremely relative, with Beta Ray Bill himself even stating that the Hulk has never fought the true Thor, hinting again at Thor's long history of holding back against opposition. Thor has also sustained attacks from Celestials. That in itself is no small feat, considering the same Celestial, Arishem the Judge, was above the Skyfather's might put together. Thor has also sustained attacks from Odin and Galactus, withstood the weight of 20 planets, withstood infinite gravity, and survived attacks from the Scarlet Witch, Ghost Rider, and Phoenix Force, even defeating or even giving some of them a run for their money. These are characters that possess reality warping hacks beyond a universal level. Perhaps one of his greatest feats of durability, endurance, and stamina came from his battle against Gorr the God Butcher. Avenger Thor absorbed the energy of Gorr's God Bomb, a weapon designed to annihilate every single god across time and space. The bomb exploded, yet Thor managed to succeed. He has even fought within Surtur's flames, the same Surtur whose flames can burn through Yggdrasil. His stamina is just as legendary, being able to fight for days, months, or even years without rest. Though Marvel's Thor is not impervious to damage, he has been concussed by the Hulk, brutalized by Thanos, and has been pierced by large blades like Niall's Necro Sword through his chest. yet more often than not, he lives to see another day. Again, I think it's evident that his durability at the very least is universal, but I think that is just a downgrade in itself. Quite easily you can argue for it to be at multiversal ranges. And while Thor isn't primarily known for his speed, his combat movement and reaction time are extraordinary. He's reacted to attacks from characters who move beyond the speed of Thor, which within Marvel's cosmology exceeds the speed of light. This is to a degree that the speed of Thor could travel to places that the speed of light cannot reach. He has fought against, reacted to, and defeated the Silver Surfer, a herald who can travel universes in moments, travel through time with raw speed, and warp time in space. Thor even went as far as 1v2ing the Surfer and Adam Warlock at once. He has also taken the Sentry on multiple occasions, the Sentry being the same character who easily caught out Ares, the God of War which can fight at flank time, the smallest possible unit of time. He has countered speed blitzes from the likes of Hyperion and Gladiator, both being relative characters. With Mjolnir, this only enhances. The hammer can travel across all the realms in quick succession to a targeted location. He can fling it across a galaxy within a minute. It can return to Thor almost instantaneously, yet Thor has been shown reacted to and dodging Mjolnir whenever it returns to him or acts up. His reflexes can track and evade a weapon moving faster than light over cosmic distances, and if indeed Yggdrasil is infinite, that just improves it ever more. Again, this character, depending on the writer, can move at massively faster than light speeds, all the way up to infinite or maybe even immeasurable. Go crazy with your scaling. Either way, he moves extremely quick. Many also forget that Thor is not only a god of thunder, but also possesses many abilities within his pocket. His power isn't just muscle, it's mystical, spiritual, and elemental. He has shown energy projection and absorption on a cosmic scale, on occasion being able to manipulate matter and time. He has resistance to soul or reality alteration. Other abilities include portal creation, magic absorption, flight, and the capability to enter a state known as Warrior's Madness. This state practically turns Thor into a mindless fighting machine, but provides the benefit of increasing his strength by tenfold. His divine lightning is not just energy, but it can be a manifestation of his own soul, capable of searing through magic barriers and disrupting cosmic entities. He's been able to summon storms that envelop entire planets and even restore life to barren worlds. As an Asgardian god, he's also stated himself that his divinity transcends dimensionality, and so can his corporeal form. His most powerful ability comes in the form of the God Blast, in which Thor utilizes his life force to deliver a powerful blast that could even send a hungry Galactus fleeing for his life. He has stopped the unstoppable Juggernaut, defeated a being that absorbed Odin's power, and halted a Celestial in its tracks. Evidently, he has a large variety of abilities in which he can use. In terms of weaponry and equipment, Thor is known to not hold too much on him. His most famous non-Mjolnir item is his underrated axe known as Yarnborn. Apologies for any butchering right there. Though lacking a worthy enchantment, this axe possesses a different sword, one that allows it to cut through even the armor of the Celestials. Of course though, there is the all-reliable hammer Mjolnir. What can I say about this weapon that we don't already know? It was forged in the heart of a dying star, made out of an incredibly powerful material known as Uru. However, something that it contains that you may not know is the being known as the God Tempest, a storm that was so powerful that it threatened the safety of Asgard, requiring Odin to take it on himself. He eventually subdued this being and put it within the Uru which Mjolnir was made from. Hammer's creation alone was able to take out the dinosaurs. In short, Comics Thor is a walking cosmic storm, a warrior whose power reaches beyond stars, realms, and even reality itself. He is the physical embodiment of the storm, capable of leveling worlds, defying fate, and standing toe-to-toe with beings that shape the multiverse. Easily a multiversal level being. But how does God of Wars Thor stack up? When it comes to mythic power and raw brutal strength, beings in fiction embody it better than God of Wars Thor. This isn't a noble protector of Midgard or a heroic Avenger. This is a storm incarnate, a blood-soaked executioner of Odin's will, the terror of the realms, and a god feared by gods. Thor's physical power in God of War's universe is nothing short of staggering. Mimir recounts that Thor fought and nearly defeated every single giant during the Aesir Vanir Wars, including some of the most powerful beings to ever exist. He's stated to be the physically strongest of the Norse pantheon, which is impressive as his father Odin managed to take down the first giant Ymir, a giant so large that many of the realms were created from his body. One of his most infamous feats come in the form of his battle against the world serpent Jormungandr. According to Mimir, their fight was so violent that it shook the very foundations of Yggdrasil and even split it. The world tree that, much like Marvel's, connects all the realms. This is a construct that connects connects infinite universes and transcends time and space. The clash was so intense that Jormungandr himself was knocked backwards through time. That is not only physical might, that's reality-breaking force generated through sheer brute strength. Arguably his greatest feat is the fact that he was able to contend with Kratos. Now depending on what you think of Greek Kratos versus Norse Kratos, this could impact the scaling. Personally, I do believe Greek Kratos to be more powerful than his Norse self, though I think they are extremely relative. Still, Thor managed to deliver attacks to Kratos that were so devastating that Ragnarok Kratos placed Thor's attacks among the strongest he'd ever felt. Thor was able to contend with Kratos in pure strength, with Kratos' younger Greek self managing to hold back Atlas, who carried the Greek god's cosmology. And we cannot ignore the fact that Thor took down Kratos and then brought him back to life. This puts God of Wars Thor on that multiversal level as well, mainly coming from the fact that he impacted the infinite world tree. If there's one thing that defines God of Wars Thor, it's that he simply will not go down. He's taken attacks from Kratos, a being who has killed titans, gods, and even primordial entities and kept coming back for more. In their first encounter, Kratos was more or less holding back. Even then, those attacks would take out most beings within the Norse realms, yet Thor shrugged them off. He even taunted Kratos throughout the fight, wanting him to try harder. Thor is tanked being smashed through stone pillars, blasted by elemental magic, and struck repeatedly by the Leviathan's axe frost energy. It was even cut into by the axe itself, and considering the axe was crafted to rival Mjolnir in power and was imbued with the world serpent's venom, that is no small feat. Despite the wound not completely healing, Thor managed to fight without hesitation, showing just how absurd his endurance really is. Other than that, he was also shown trading attacks with the world serpent. However, this version of Thor, much like Marvel's, isn't truly immortal. While his resilience and durability is extraordinary, he still has a limit. Beyond the injuries sustained with his battles with Kratos, Thor ultimately fell when Odin struck him through his chest with a single fatal spear thrust. Now, I don't necessarily think that downscales Thor at all, but rather just shows how powerful Odin's weapon and strength truly is. So when Thor fights, it's not often about dodging or defense, but outlasting. So the fact that he's able to trade blows with Kratos and the World Serpent, with the first having multiversal levels himself, does indeed show that Thor possesses crazy levels of durability. While God of Wars Thor is not portrayed as lightning fast in the cinematics, his combat speed and reaction time are far more impressive than they appear. He's able to tag Kratos, who has dodged opponents capable of teleporting, manipulating time, and attacking at godlike speeds. Greek Kratos managed to defeat characters like Helios, whose light can reach an infinite distance over a short period of time. This means that Thor's reactions should scale to a similar level, however I'm still on the side that Kratos wasn't going full out during his fights. Not only does he match Kratos in close combat, but his encounter with Heimdall further shows his speed and ferocity. Heimdall, an Aesir god who could predict movements and react before attacks even landed, wasn't afraid of Kratos in the slightest, yet he feared Thor. That alone speaks volumes about Thor's abilities to blitz someone who can literally see into the future. Mjolnir's speed is also incredibly fast, though not quite as instantaneous. Several characters or objects have been shown reacting to or intercepting the hammer's return, suggesting that he's indeed real quick, but not onto the absurd level of its Marvel counterpart. Overall, Thor's speed isn't really about finesse or elegance, but rather explosive power. Every movement and every step aims to overwhelm his opponent immediately, easily reaching faster than light if not infinite speeds. When it comes to the abilities, God of Wars Thor is quite a bit off from his Marvel counterpart. He's a force of nature molded by purely raw divine might, but unlike Odin or Freya, Thor doesn't rely on intricate spellcraft or rune manipulation. Of course, he possesses the godly trifecta of strength, durability, and speed, but again, those aren't powers or abilities, just an innate physical prowess. Thor's divine affinity lies in his dominion over lightning, thunder, and storms, and he wields these elements not as spells, but as extensions of his fury. With swings of Mjolnir, he can cast catastrophic bolts of lightning that light up the ground, scorching landscapes and obliterating armies. With these powers, he is also capable of flight. However, unlike Odin's complex runic sorcery or Heimdall's Bifrost manipulation, Thor shows no sign of advanced magic versatility. In his fight against Kratos, his lightning was fierce enough to stagger the ghost of Sparta and briefly overpower him, a feat that speaks volumes to his power considering Kratos' long history of slaying gods, titans, and primordial beings. Yet despite this brutalness, Thor's lightning alone wasn't enough to bring down Kratos. It is clear that while his storm-wielding abilities are devastating, they are less useful in combat than his physical prowess. But like to Marvel's counterpart, God of Wars Thor doesn't rely on a vast arsenal. He only requires Mjolnir. Where the Leviathan axe was made to protect, Mjolnir was built to devastate. Every strike carries the fury of a storm. form. The hammer is able to channel Thor's control over lightning, though it's not required. It also has been shown to have a mind of its own, being able to work in fights without Thor's commands. While it doesn't display complex magical functions like Marvel's counterpart, Mjolnir in God of War is the embodiment of raw divine power. However, it cannot break through everything. As seen when Mimir was stuck in a tree by Odin, it was stated that not even Thor's hammer could break through. So while Thor's hammer doesn't display complex magical functions on the level of his Marvel counterpart, it is still a powerful weapon that does its job. God of Wars Thor is the embodiment of destruction, not a protector, but a being that gets sent out by Odin to wipe everything clean. To me, it seems that Thor himself scales to a universal to multiversal level, much like his father. So, who actually wins in a fight between these two Thors? Well, I think it should be clear who stands on top. In my opinion, when you break this battle down from every angle, without even considering the current Odin Force empowered Thor, Marvel Comics Thor still takes the victory. Both versions are comparable in sheer strength and attack potency, with feats that reach into the realm of universal and even multiversal levels of destruction, but when it comes to every other category, this being speed, durability, combat skill, experience and versatility, I have Marvel's Thor dominating. He has a lot more showings that are far more consistent, his scaling is broader and his arsenal is far more diverse. Even in terms of raw strength, Warrior's Madness 10-fold strength increase alone would easily tip the scale into Marvel's Thor's favour. Again, Marvel's Thor is able to create storms that can cover an entire planet and can call upon storms from different planets. God of Wars Thor, as devastating as he is, simply lacks the same depth of feats and abilities. His powers are more restricted to lightning, while Marvel's Thor, thanks to its universe, embodies a cosmic scale of divinity, meaning that God of War's Thor would have to rely on pure might than any abilities, which is a problem because Thor takes on beings like the Hulk who solely rely on strength. He also often takes on characters like Thanos, who is both physically more powerful and has a lot more abilities. While I still do think God of War's Thor would absolutely pose a serious challenge, I believe that Marvel's Thor would take the victory more often than not, likely winning the fight at a mid difficulty. And if we were to include current Thor wielding the Odin Force and all that other stuff, then yeah, I don't really think it would be too much of a contest. That level of power would be far beyond anything the 9 realms could hope to withstand. So yeah, I believe that Marvel's Thor would take the win, but what do you think? Let me know in the comments and make sure to like and subscribe. I'll catch you on the next video. See ya.